Imagine trusting someone so much you thank them for being there while they slowly kill the person you love. Tonight's story isn't about a killer in a mask or a stranger in a dark alley. It's about a woman in scrubs, with a soft voice and a comforting smile, who was always there at the moment of death, and somehow always the first one to find the body. In a tiny town where everyone knew her name, she was the angel of the night shift. She prayed with families, shook hands, and whispered, "They didn't suffer." But behind that gentle face, there were patterns no one wanted to see. A black notebook, strange symbols next to certain names, and a terrifying question. Were these patients dying or being chosen? Because once one daughter started asking questions, the illusion cracked. Timelines lined up, charts didn't make sense, and the truth hiding in that hospital was darker than anything outside its walls. In this video, we're going to walk through exactly what happened, step by step, how she gained their trust, how the deaths were written off as natural, and how a simple mistake exposed everything. And there's one final detail right at the end of this story that changes the way you'll look at hospital peaceful deaths forever. So don't skip around, don't click away, stay with me till the end and decide for yourself. Was she a monster in disguise or a twisted savior who believed she was doing mercy's work?
Well, the weird thing about this story is that it never begins with screaming or sirens. It starts with quiet halls, fluorescent lights humming, and a woman everyone trusted without question. And honestly, maybe that's why it still sticks to my ribs a little. Back in 2014, Briar Ridge, Ohio wasn't the kind of place anyone outside the county talked about. Just cornfields, a diner that closed at 7, at a hospital so small you could hear a vending machine drop a soda from 2 hallways away. Briar Ridge Community Hospital wasn't fancy, but people were born there, healed there, and sometimes died there. Normal stuff, natural stuff, or at least that's what everyone thought. And at the center of it all was Nurse Margaret Lane, Maggie, if she liked you. 42, soft voice, brown curly hair always in a loose bun, and this way of listening that made you feel like she carried your worries for you. She'd worked nights for almost 2 decades. Patients adored her. Doctors trusted her. Families hugged her during the worst moments of their lives. She never forgot a birthday, a medication, or a story someone told her half asleep at 3 a.m. You know the type. Steady, dependable, almost invisible in how good she was. But here's the part nobody noticed until it was way too late. The deaths started slowly. One in March 2015, another in July. Both elderly, both sick, both peaceful. Nothing suspicious. But when you're dealing with hospital charts and grieving families, peace starts becoming a blanket that covers too much. By 2017, the pattern grew, but it grew like a shadow. You only saw it if you really stared. 12 nighttime deaths in a single year, all on Maggie's shift. 12 times she was the one who found them. 12 times she held a shaking relative and whispered, "They didn't suffer." And nobody questioned it, because grief makes you cling to anyone who sounds comforting. But here's where it gets uncomfortable. In April 2018, a guy named Daniel Wright walked into the picture. He was 49, diabetic, recently widowed, the kind of man who wore grief like a coat that didn't fit anymore. His daughter Lily visited every evening, always sitting beside him until Maggie clocked in. She liked Maggie. Everyone did. When Daniel died just 4 days later, Lily didn't blame anyone. The death certificate said heart failure, the doctor shrugged, the chaplain prayed. But something about it kept her awake at night. Not the death itself, but the timing, the suddenness, the way Maggie had told her, almost too quickly, that it was over. And Lily couldn't let it go. 3 weeks later, she returned to Briar Ridge with a notebook and every printed medical record she could request. She wasn't angry, she was searching. And in her search, she stumbled into another family in the hospital's front lobby, the Thompsons. Their mother Margaret, another Margaret, ironically, died on the same floor, same nurse on duty, same calm explanation. That's when something inside Lily cracked open. What if this wasn't random? What if someone was choosing? What if peaceful was a lie? But wait, you're not ready for what she found next. Lily posted in this tiny online grief forum asking if anyone had lost a loved one at Briar Ridge Community Hospital. She didn't name names, didn't accuse anyone. She just asked. And slowly, like raindrops forming a puddle, responses arrived. My dad died there in 2016, night shift. A nurse comforted us, Margaret, I think. My sister passed away in 2017, respiratory arrest. That same nurse was there. My husband collapsed right after surgery. The night nurse found him. 12 families, 12 eerily similar stories. Still, nobody screamed murder. Because who wants to imagine that someone who held your crying face might have caused the tears? Here's where the story gets even stranger. One of the grieving husbands, Tom Abernathy, mentioned something he never thought was important. After his wife died, the hospital returned a few personal belongings. Among them, a folded piece of paper was accidentally left in the back. It had dates and times scribbled in tiny handwriting, and a strange little symbol next to his wife's name, a circle with a diagonal line through it. He didn't know what it meant. He tossed it out. But Lily didn't forget it. So she went digging. And honestly, this part still gives me a weird feeling in my gut.
Lily pulled every death certificate, every nursing note, every shift schedule she could obtain through public records. And there it was, the symbol. Sometimes on the edge of a nurse's note, sometimes hidden inside a medication chart, sometimes scribbled so faintly you'd think it was a doodle. Always the same circle with the diagonal line. Always on patients who died peacefully at night. Always linked to Maggie Lane. Coincidence? Maybe. But how many coincidences can one building hold? Now here's the moment everything turned. During a routine housekeeping rotation, a worker named Elena Ruiz noticed something odd in the staff break room. Maggie's locker, always spotless, always organized, was slightly open. Elena didn't snoop, she swore she didn't. She just bumped it accidentally and it swung wider. Inside was a black leather notebook with no name, and on the cover, someone had drawn the same strange circle symbol. Elena didn't open it, she just closed the locker, walked out, and immediately told the charge nurse because something about it felt wrong in her bones. 2 days later, that notebook was reported missing, and Maggie called in sick. See, you feel that, right? That quiet, tightening dread. The hospital administration finally ran the numbers, something they should have done years ago. Between 2014 and 2019, Briar Ridge averaged 6 nighttime natural deaths per year when Maggie wasn't scheduled. But in the years she worked full-time nights, that number nearly doubled. Still, nobody used the word killer. Hospitals hate scandals more than anything. But the police, they don't mind asking uncomfortable questions. Detective Aaron Mercer, tired eyes, stubborn personality, began interviewing families. He wasn't expecting anything. Most medical deaths go nowhere. But the moment Lily placed the printed timelines on his desk, every hair on his body stood up. Because Lily Wright, a grieving daughter with a notebook, had unknowingly mapped out a serial pattern, and she didn't even realize how big it was. But here's where it gets absolutely chilling. Mercer got a warrant. They searched Maggie's house, quaint yellow porch, wind chimes, potted lavender, very normal, too normal. Inside her bedroom dresser, underneath neatly folded scrubs, they found the notebook Elena had seen. It wasn't a journal, it was a ledger. Names, dates, times, dosages. And beside 27 of the names, yes, 27, was that same circle with the diagonal line. The first entry dated back to 2012. The last,
4 days before Maggie called in sick. But the notebook didn't say why. There was no rage, no confessions, no dramatic motive, just numbers and symbols and silence. When confronted, Maggie didn't run. She walked into the station on May 11, 2019, still wearing her hospital badge, still smiling that soft, gentle smile she was known for. She asked for water before questioning. She folded her hands neatly. She apologized for the inconvenience, and she denied everything. She said the notebook was for prayer lists. She said the symbol meant transitioned peacefully. She said she had been chosen by God to comfort the dying. But Detective Mercer noticed something. She never asked who accused her, because she already knew. Now, here's the thing everyone forgets about these kinds of cases. Proving intentional killing in a hospital is nearly impossible. Medications metabolize fast, medical records blur, bodies get buried or cremated. Death looks natural when the killer knows how to make it look natural. But one family refused to cremate. Daniel Wright's body was exhumed. Toxicology revealed high levels of insulin, fatal to someone who didn't need it. His chart showed no medical order, no doctor prescription, no note of administration. Only one nurse documented being present that night, Margaret Lane. And yeah, that was the crack that split everything open. Still, prosecutors struggled. How do you prove intent when the accused has spent her life comforting the dying? How do you convince a jury that a woman who prayed with families also poisoned their relatives? The trial began in February 2020 at the Cuyahoga County Courthouse. National media swarmed Briar Ridge, turning the tiny town into an unsettling circus. Reporters dug up childhood photos, old yearbook quotes, church bulletins. America loves a villain with a soft face. Maggie sat there every day, calm, composed, almost bored. She never cried, never flinched, never looked at the gallery behind her. But Lily did. She sat through the entire trial, clutching her father's watch like a lifeline. And whenever Maggie glanced at her, Lily didn't blink. She wanted Maggie to see her. You know what's strange? The families didn't want revenge. They wanted answers. Why these patients? Why those nights? Why that symbol? But Maggie never explained, not once. And here's a detail that still gives me chills. When the prosecution displayed the notebook enlarged on a courtroom screen, Maggie tilted her head and smiled. Not wide, not creepy, just proud, like an artist admiring their own signature.
That moment alone convinced half the courtroom. After 3 weeks of testimony, the jury deliberated for only 6 hours. They convicted her of aggravated murder in the death of Daniel Wright and manslaughter in 3 other cases. The court couldn't charge for the remaining suspected deaths due to lack of physical evidence, but everyone in that room felt the weight of the number 27. On March 6, 2020, Judge Ellen Caro sentenced Margaret Lane to life in prison without parole. Maggie didn't react, didn't sigh, didn't glance at her family. She simply asked if she could return the notebook to her locker for sentimental reasons. The judge denied the request. She was led out of the courtroom with the same gentle posture she used to comfort families. Some people still swear she believed she was helping those patients, that she saw herself as mercy, not death. But here's the part nobody knows what to do with. That notebook, the original, the one with the symbols, vanished from police storage in 2022. No replacement, no explanation, no digital scan. It just disappeared. The department blamed clerical error, the families blamed corruption. Some people say Maggie orchestrated it from prison. Others say someone wanted the death count buried forever. And honestly, I don't know what scares me more. The idea that she kept the tally for herself, or that someone else wanted it gone forever. What still keeps Briar Ridge awake at night isn't the number 27. It's the question of how many didn't make the notebook. Patients cremated too fast, deaths written off before anyone knew to look.
families who never thought to ask. Because the most terrifying killers aren't the ones hiding in dark alleys. They're the ones holding your hand, telling you you're safe. And every once in a while, when the night shift lights flicker at Briar Ridge Community Hospital, someone whispers her name, not because they think she's coming back, but because the town still hasn't figured out how to mourn the truth. Anyway, I'm curious, would you have trusted her too? Or would something have felt off to you from the start? In the end, what makes this story so disturbing isn't just the number of deaths, it's the way trust was turned into a weapon. These families did exactly what any of us would do. They handed their loved ones over to people in white coats and gentle voices, believing they were safe. Cases like this are a reminder that we should ask questions, pay attention, and never be afraid to speak up when something doesn't feel right, no matter how kind or caring someone appears on the surface. If you've ever had an experience in a hospital that didn't sit right with you, or if this story hit a little too close to home, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Do you think she saw herself as a killer or as some twisted version of a savior? If you found this documentary eye-opening, don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next case. Because as long as people like this exist, there will always be another story hiding in the dark.